Hello, hello, hello. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Shannon O'Hurley. My pronouns are she, her. And I am so grateful to be here this day that love has made for every one of us. Shelley mentioned a little bit earlier that the prayer practitioners and I were at retreat this weekend, just feeling this love and putting a little love in our heart, putting a lot of love in our heart and each other's hearts. And I'm going to bring some of that to you today. So I'm very grateful for that. In order to become a prayer practitioner in our tradition of New Thought, between the prerequisites in our 2-year professional training program, it's between 4 and 5 years of spiritual study that they have specifically dedicated to do this work. And I can tell you that there is no way that I could do what I do in this community if it weren't for the support that I receive from our practitioners, not only me and Shelley, but also in every single one of our ministries or groups, whatever you want to call them, our practitioners serve in every one of them. So can we just thank our practitioners for a moment? Both here and online, they just fill me and fill my heart. So my talk today is called Grounding Ourselves in Good. And I thought that with so much going on in our world today that I would actually dedicate an entire Sunday talk to looking at ways and exploring ways together that we can remember to anchor ourselves in the good, in the good. In our metaphysical New Thought teaching, a synonym for God is spirit or source or good with a capital G, goodness, love, joy, compassion. They're all names that we use interchangeably for the divine, for God, for spirit. One of our earliest metaphysical teachers in New Thought, Emma Curtis Hopkins, way back in the 1800s, quite frequently referred to God as God the Good. And I have to say, growing up in the tradition, the Catholic tradition that I grew up in, and I don't know about any of you, the idea that God the Good, only God the Good, God the Gracious, God the Loving, is perhaps maybe a new concept. That it's not about a Santa Claus God in the sky that is, judgy or moody or sometimes mean. Rather, spirit, source, is this divine, ineffable, benevolent presence that is the very air we breathe. So God the Good, God the Good. In her book, The Awakened Way, Making the Shift to a Divinely Guided Life, Suzanne Giesemann wrote, "Life is one complete energetic whole in ever-changing states of unfolding and enfolding. It is a process, an eternal flow, a dynamic dance of being and becoming." Isn't that beautiful? Being and becoming. I believe that is why we are all here, to be and to become the essence of spirit that we incarnated here at this time to be and to become. When we root ourselves in the good, we remember that we are part of this eternal flow, both steady and always evolving, and that spirit meets us in every twist and turn of life. And right now, I think it's fair to say that life in our country is a bit twisty. Yes, just a bit. And spirit meets us. Spirit meets us always, always where we are. And so since I'm talking about grounding ourselves in our good today, I thought it would be apropos if we began today doing a grounding practice together. Sound good? All right, so I'm going to invite all of you here and those of you online to please close your eyes, or you can gaze downward at a fixed spot right in front of you on the ground if that is easier for you or more comfortable. And let's all take in a deep, nourishing breath. And just let your feet rest on the ground. Just notice that the ground is here for you, steady and holding you. I invite you to take a slow, easy breath in, just a gentle breath, no need to force anything. Just your own pace. And now I invite you to imagine that from the soles of your feet, the bottom of your feet, the most beautiful roots stretch down gently and naturally, reaching down into Mother Earth. They don't pull or push. They simply connect you to Mother Earth energy. Feel how the ground doesn't ask you to be anything different than you are. You might notice, even if today may feel heavy or light, or somewhere in between, Mother Earth can hold that for you. And just as the roots connect you down into what is steady and solid and safe, I now invite you to imagine there is also space above you, like an open, welcoming sky. Feel the presence of Spirit above you, stretching to infinity. And this presence of Spirit is below you and within you and around you. And this Spirit is unconditional love, divinity itself. Spirit is the very air you breathe. The eternal indwelling Spirit of light and grace is right here, surrounding and filling you, supporting you from every direction. The breath you breathe is the breath of the divine. Let yourself just rest in this moment of truth. Affirming that you are supported from beneath, from above, from all around, and from within by the sacred presence that is everywhere in all things. Know now that you are grounded in eternal love and Spirit here in this place and time. And when you are ready, just please gently open your eyes and return to the room. The following piece is written by the poet Lucy Grace. It is called When We See the Good. When we see the good in each other, we call it forth. Try it. Look for light, and you will find light. Look to celebrate, and you will find reason. Radiance is everywhere, buried inside the grumpiest among us, like a pearl in mud, even more glorious for the surprise of finding it. There's no one too small for light. It's what we are. People aren't bad. They're just different scales of wounded, creating more. They've just forgotten themselves for a bit. And when we see their sacredness, we summon it. When we see their sacredness, we summon it. Isn't that glorious? When we see their sacredness, we summon it. Grounding in the good means we choose to see that sacredness, not only in the people that we agree with, but also in those who are acting out, those who simply have forgotten who they are. And this matters. This matters so much beyond our own, kindred spirits here, beyond our personal circles and wherever you are online, your people. When we witness the pain and injustice our current government is causing so many of our sisters, brothers, and siblings across our country, we can still root ourselves in the awareness that something profoundly sacred, the divine, no less than the divine, lives in the heart of every being, whether they know it or not. We can know that of them. That then promotes peace on the planet. Hear me, holding this vision does not ever excuse harm of any kind. We still march together, and we march together here. We call our representatives, we hold vigils, we do whatever we can to be helpers right now. And for those of us on a spiritual path, part of our holy work is to see the sacred in the messy. To see spirit in all beings. And I know this is not always easy. Oh, starting with me. I know this isn't easy. It's a spiritual practice, and it's part of our walk in this life. It's part of our incarnation here on this planet at this time. And it's ancient. This idea is ancient. From the wisdom of Hinduism in the Bhagavad Gita, one of the most ancient scriptures we have, it says, the self-realized person sees the same self present in all beings, whether friend or enemy, noble or outcast, animal or sage. The self-realized person sees the same self present in all beings. So I ask you, is there someone in your own life who challenges you? So let's start small. This does not have to be your nemesis, if you have a nemesis. But let's just for a moment consider someone in your personal life, someone in your life that just rubs you the wrong way. Can you, even for a moment, with us in the safety and the nurturing air in this sanctuary and in this community, can you for a moment see the sacred in them, the divine in them? Can you see them when they were 5 years old, before the world or life or society hurt them? Can you see the divinity in their being? As Carl Sagan reminded us, we are all made of star stuff. He didn't say only the people you like are made of star stuff. We are all made of star stuff. That is as true for the ones we love easily as it is for the ones who, shall we say, stretch our patience. Whenever you can, my friends, remember this grounding, remember this truth, and that is that we all belong to each other, as Mother Teresa said. We all belong to each other. And remembering this will draw you back into the deepest truth, will take you out of ego mind and draw you back into spirit, to soul, to your truth, to your alignment, to who you truly are. The truth is, we are all one in this human family, my loves. All of us. All of us. So, having just spent the weekend with our prayer practitioners, I am inspired to share an idea with you. What if you decided today that you are going to live your life as a prayer? That you're going to walk your life, live your life as a blessing. Can you feel into what that would feel like? And I'm not talking about a begging, beseeching prayer. I'm talking about an affirmative, empowering, beautiful prayer. Can you imagine if you lived your life as if it were a blessing, your existence as a blessing and your presence as a blessing, how you would show up in the world, your edges would soften. You would see the sacred in others so much more easily and quickly. You would forgive faster. You would love more quickly. You would let go of things more quickly. You would become more of a helper. If you lived your life as a blessing, if you lived your life as a beautiful prayer, as if you started every day, can you imagine, my friends, with me, if you woke up every morning and said, my life is a blessing, my life is a blessing, my life is a blessing, and I am a living prayer. That goes very nice with a great cup of coffee. But just consider that energy field. Consider that. Instead of waking up and immediately going to the phone and scrolling and doom scrolling. You know, Alexa, play the news with your morning coffee. Wait, there's time for that. Start with the blessing, recognizing the providence that you are, the true blessing that you are for yourselves and everyone around you. Life is going to be what life is going to be, and we are at choice. We're always at choice how we are going to respond. There's a beautiful prayer about this very idea that I love so much. It's often attributed to Teresa of Avila. However, the version of it that is used and circulated most often was adapted by the Quaker Sarah Elizabeth Roundtree. She wrote, God has no body but yours, no hands, no feet on earth but yours. Yours are the eyes with which God looks compassion on this world. Yours are the feet with which God walks to do good. Yours are the hands with which God blesses all the world. Yours are the hands. Yours are the feet. Yours are the eyes. You are God's body. God has no body on earth but yours. That is our call, my friends. That's our call. Especially now. Especially now. Because I know that there is just a lot of grief happening so much in the world right now, so much in our country right now. I know there is so much grief that many of you are moving through. You share it with me. I know this. And there is so much love. There is so much love. Perhaps you may be experiencing personal grief. Sometimes it shows up like a whisper. Sometimes it shows up like a storm. And yet, as people on a spiritual path, we have the profound capacity to walk alongside grief with joy. That's how we're going to get through this time. You know, when we as a community march, we have so much joy that we experience. When we make our signs, when we gather in our social justice teams, there is enormous joy in the middle of enormous grief. And that's how, as a spiritual community dedicated to doing our own inner work and then walking that out into the world to make this world a better place, that's how we do it. We walk our grief alongside our joy. It's like two travelers on the same road. Joy does not erase grief, and grief does not cancel joy, but they move together. And we can, all of us, unless someone, and I want to make this caveat because it's important, Everything we do here is trauma-informed, and unless someone is facing a clinical situation that clouds their capacity to feel, unless that is the case, we can all summon joy. We can choose it in the shadow of sorrow and of grief. Joy becomes not an escape, but a companion. Joy is our companion. And I can tell you, as a former organizer, that is how organizers do it in front of ICE detention centers. That's how it's done. There has to be a joy that accompanies righteous action because it's all rooted in love. And in love is joy. In love is joy. You know, we did a really fun exercise at our practitioner retreat that I want to bring to you. I trust you practitioners will think it's okay that I share this, because we laughed so hard, it was fabulous. We did a whole section really on grief right now, and we deepened and we grew in that area. And we learned even more deeply how to support you, how to support ourselves and one another on the path of grief. And to create balance, because everything in God, everything in the divine is divinely balanced. We then moved into a practice of joy, to create and call in and summon that joy to walk beside the grief that we had just discussed and deepened into and learned about. And perhaps when you get home today, you might be willing to do this, or some point along your week. Maybe you watch a particularly difficult news hour, or whatever it may be. You have a difficult conversation at work, or whatever it may be. Here's the invitation. Set a timer for 5 minutes. For 5 minutes, and have your notebook and just write down everything that sparks joy in your life. Everything for 5 minutes. That's the thing. And you'll find after 3-4 minutes, you start to be like, and a sunny day. But what that does is it stretches your brain to find the good, to find the God, to find the joy, to find the laughter, to find the silly, to find the happiness, to find the love. I invite you to create this list for yourself, whatever it is that sparks joy, and then commit for the next 24 hours to one thing that maybe you haven't done in a while. One thing that will bring you joy, from the tiniest thing to the biggest thing. That is my invitation for you this week. As we move through this time in our life, joy has its rightful place at your table. And so this week, I invite you into not only that, finding that joy, but also remembering our oneness, to make the decision as best you can to choose to see the sacred in every person, especially those who stretch your patience. And to try this idea on for yourself this week. See how it feels. This idea of moving through your day, remembering that you are here. You incarnated here to be a living blessing to yourself and to the world. I'm inviting you into the joy practice as well. I think we're going to get very good at practicing joy as a community because we must. Because that is what is going to get us through as we walk our joy alongside our grief, allowing both to be companions in our life. May we all see the sacred, be the blessing, and choose joy.